Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Thank you for joining me. In my video today, I'm going to be making a card using the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month for July 2022. It is called Day at the Beach, so you'll be able to create a fun card like this with the dies to make a fun beach scene. I'm also going to show you in detail how to make a fun beach background for any of your beach or summer cards using your inks and a stencil. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's start out by taking a look at the dies in the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month for July. Again, this is called Day at the Beach, and these are all of the dies that are included. This is a monthly subscription, so if you are interested in finding out about how you can obtain these dies, I will have a link in the description box below for the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month, as well as for all of their clubs. So this particular die is the lady's back and her arms. I die cut that out of some cream cardstock. And then there is the bathing suit die, and I'm using the Scrapbookcom rainbow pattern paper to die cut the bathing suit. So I'm just kind of looking at the pattern paper to decide what colors or where on this pattern paper I want to grab this small bathing suit, and I go ahead and just cut a piece out, and I'm going to die cut that bathing suit from the pattern. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this piece together. I'm going to add the bathing suit to the body. So I'm just going to glue that down, and then I'm going to attach the arms. So we're going to put some glue on the top of the left arm here. I'm going to attach that from underneath, and then I'm going to take the other arm, add some glue to the top, and attach that underneath the right side of the body. So there is the lady's body. There are two dies to die cut the beach towel. So the larger die cut the pink cardstock, and then the smaller die cuts all of the little striped pieces, which I use some yellow cardstock for that. Now the solid paper that I'm using is the Scrapbookcom rainbow solid paper pad. So it's the matching solid colors to the pattern paper pad that I showed you just a moment ago. And I am just taking these yellow pieces of cardstock stripes, and I'm just adding them to the beach towel. Now, it's hard to tell on the video, but the pink die cut piece actually has some embossed lines in that die cut, so I know where exactly to put these striped pieces. And then there's some smaller yellow pieces. I'm just going to put glue on those, and I'm going to add them as well. You don't have to add these smaller pieces. I mean, the beach blanket looks perfectly fine without it. It's really up to you. But since they already die cut out, I'm going to go ahead and add them. If you wanted to put them in maybe a different color, maybe you wanted to have 3 colors in your beach blanket, you can, die cut the smaller stripes in a different color to have the 3 different colors. That's up to you. So I go ahead and add all of those stripes. Now there are some dies that will allow you to die cut some fringe for the ends of the beach blanket. I went ahead and die cut the fringe dies out of some of the yellow cardstock, and I'm just going to glue them on to each end of the beach blanket. And that is how you put together the beach blanket using the dies. Next, I'm going to work on putting the hat together. So I have these 2 oval dies. One is slightly larger than the other one. I'm going to die cut the larger one out of the solid pink cardstock. And then there are these 2 inserts. One says hello and one says smile, and they both fit into the smaller oval. I'm going to die cut that also out of the pink cardstock, and I'm just going to ink up the edges with some pink ink just to have a little bit more definition. The ink wasn't showing up that well, so I went ahead and just used my die cut and just put it directly into the ink pad. And I'm also inking up these little circular pieces. These are also part of the hat, for the center of the hat. And you can see how the smaller oval, it fits right on top of the larger oval. And then the word hello I used for the sentiment on the hat, and the words or the letters, they actually pop out. And what I've done is I also took the Hello die cut it again out of some yellow cardstock. I did put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back of the yellow cardstock and then ran it through my die cut machine so all of these letters are a sticker, and then I can just insert them right in to the spots on the pink cardstock piece where they fit. So that is going to be the sentiment for the card. And again, the other one says smile. So if you wanted to change it out and use the word smile instead of hello, you can do that as well. So you can see how the smaller oval fits on top of the larger oval, and that ink adds a little bit of definition between those layers. And then this particular die, I die cut out of some white cardstock. That's just going to be for the ribbon or the bow that goes around the top of that beach hat. So I die cut that die twice, and I'm adding the 2 strands there directly to the center of the hat. I'm just going to tape those down. I'm going to go ahead and apply some glue to keep these white ribbon attached to the top of the hat. And then I'm going to take the center piece, that center pink piece, and add that directly to the center of the hat. Next, I'm going to take this white die cut piece and I'm going to add it underneath the center pink piece of the hat, and now my hat is complete. Next, I'm going to put together the beach bag or the purse. So I have these dies to put that together. I did use the same pattern paper from the rainbow pattern paper pad from Scrapbookcom to die cut the bag, and then this piece I have some yellow solid cardstock. That's just going to be the inside of the bag. The bag actually is open, so if you wanted to put the flip-flops inside there, you can. And then I have this die, which is the handle for the bag. I just die cut that out of some white cardstock, and I'm just going to glue that onto the beach bag. And then that die also will die cut out the straps for the flip-flops. So I went ahead and die cut the flip-flops out of the same pattern paper that I die cut the beach bag, just so they matched, and then the straps out of white cardstock. And here you see me gluing on those straps to the bottom of the flip-flop. And here are the flip-flops. So now all my die cuts are put together. I'm going to go ahead and work on the background. So for my background, I have a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock. I cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I have a piece of 5-inch mint tape. This is the Scrapbookcom mint tape, and I just masked off the bottom portion of that cardstock so that only about 1 1/2 inches is displayed at the top. So only about 1 1/2 inches of white cardstock shows. I'm using my squeezed lemonade distress oxide ink, and I'm inking up the top of that cardstock in the yellow ink. Next, I'm going to bring in this Sunburst Stencil from Spellbinders. This is a very large stencil. It measures 6 by 9, so if you wanted to use this for a slimline card, you can, because it is so large. But I'm just using part of this stencil, and notice I put it over the entire piece of cardstock. And I am just inking up the center where the sun is with the carved pumpkin ink, and then all of those rays. So once this is completed, it's going to show the sun in the background of the beach. So it can either be a sunrise or a sunset. It really doesn't matter. But once I remove the stencil, you'll be able to see that beautiful stenciled background. And the stencil is only going to show up above that masking tape. There's not going to be anything below that masking tape, because underneath that is where I'm going to create the ocean and then eventually the sand. So here I remove the stencil and the masking tape, and you can see the sun there at the top. So now I'm just going to take that same piece of masking tape and just line it up to cover up the stencil that I've already inked down on my cardstock. I want to cover that up so I don't get any ink on that by accident, and I'm ready to ink up the sand. So for the sand, I'm using the Antique Linen Distress Oxide ink, and I'm coming darker at the bottom of that cardstock and then just lighter as I go up. And I wanted to make it lighter as I go up because I'm eventually going to blend this into the ocean. Next, I'm going to bring in the Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to start at the top now of the cardstock where the masking tape is, and I'm going to come in really dark. So I'm making sure that I press harder at the top, and then I'm going to come down and ink up the rest of that white cardstock, but I'm going to go lighter as I go down. And when I say go lighter, it just means that I'm not going to press as hard. So I'm going to use a lighter hand as I go down because I want to blend the ocean into the sand. I wanted the top of that ocean to be really dark, so I'm actually coming in with a smaller ink blending brush. This is just a finger dauber, and I'm just going really hard to make a horizontal line along the top because I wanted it to be darker, like typically when you're looking at the ocean, you see the darker water in the horizon. So I wanted it to be darker than the ocean that is closest to the sand. So now I'm just coming in with some more of the antique linen and just going over that a little bit more. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove the mask, but I'm not done yet. Now I'm going to take that mask and I'm going to come down a little bit further. I'm going to cover up the ocean and the sun because I just want the sand displayed. I want to add a little bit of texture to the sand. So I'm taking some of my Walnut stain ink, adding it to my mat, and spritzing it with water, taking a paintbrush, mixing that water around with the ink, and just flicking on that darker ink onto the bottom of that cardstock. So this is just adding a little bit of texture to my sandy beach. Once I'm finished, I'll go ahead and clean that up with a paper towel and remove the mask. And there is my beach background. So you can use this background for any type of beach or summer card that you might need for a beach scene. Now I'm going to go ahead and place all of my die cuts on the card front to finish up this card. So I'll start with the beach towel. Next I'm going to add the girl sitting on the blanket, but what I've done is I actually took the die that is her back and I die cut out of some white cardstock and then just cut it in half and added part of that white cardstock to the top part of that die. So the top of the back, the top of the arms, and I'm just adding it to my completed die cut piece. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need some extra cardstock layers on the back of this die because the way that I'm going to position this on my card front, it's going to sit partially on the blanket and partially off of the blanket. Well, the beach blanket has several cardstock layers that is raising it higher than the other part of the card, and I want to make sure that that die lays flat when I add it to my card. So that's why I just added some extra cardstock layers underneath. So I go ahead and add the girl so that she's sitting looking at the ocean. I'm going to go ahead and add her hat. Notice I'm going to have to add a little bit of extra cardstock layers to the back of the hat as well so that this lays flat on my card. So I'll go ahead and add that to my card, and then I'm going to go ahead and position the beach bag and the flip-flops on the card front. So I'll add the beach bag to the right and I'll add the flip-flops there to the left. And then I'm going to take this layer and add it to an A2 size card base. My card base measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and that is going to complete my card. So I hope you liked my card today. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Once again, all product links will be down in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.